We begin with tragic news. Notre Dame was set to play Georgia in a college football playoff quarterfinal at the All-State Sugar Bowl on Wednesday night, but the game was rescheduled for 4 p.m. Eastern today in the wake of the attack on Bourbon Street that killed 15 people and injured dozens more, which the FBI is investigating as an act of terrorism. Notre Dame coach Marcus Freeman is working through the emotions after such a traumatic event, but also still preparing to win a critical game. Coach?
The first part of that team meeting was to mourn and to pray for our country and those that are affected. But as we ended that meeting, we had to redirect our focus towards preparing for this game, and we had to utilize this time that we have today and tomorrow morning to continue to prepare for this opportunity. What I told the team is in the toughest moments, the culture of any program of a nation is revealed, and I have a lot of faith this country will rally around New Orleans and support all the victims and families that were affected today.
Yeah, and we co-sign on that. Our thoughts and prayers with all those affected by that tragedy. Stephen A., I'll just start with you. Your reaction to what happened in New Orleans to start the new year.
It's devastating. It just shows that no matter how far we've come as a nation, we've got a long way to go. We've got some really sick individuals out there who want to see the world burn. They want people to suffer. They want everybody, I won't say everybody, but they want the country to experience a precipitous demise. And I think that that's clearly obvious. Those are folks on the fringes. The vast majority of American citizens are law-abiding, God-fearing individuals who want the best for themselves and for everybody else to want peace to basically reign. But you do have folks who are hell-bent on spreading chaos and taking lives along the way if that's necessary. I totally agree with the decision to postpone this game. It was the right decision to make. When you hear that 10 initially and then ultimately we learned 15 people were killed, when there's an investigation as to whether or not this was a coordinated attack, where you hear that, there were elements of terrorism that's being investigated because there's strong suspicion of that, it definitely raises red flags. It gives you cause to pause. And I'm thinking about what's going on there today. I'm thinking about the fact that the Super Bowl is going to be there next month. New Orleans is a phenomenal city. It's a party town. It's filled with joy and whatever, but obviously it's had its tragedies in the past. Hurricane Katrina, obviously coming to my mind and what have you. But in the end, they've overcome a lot. This is yet the latest thing that they have to overcome. But we're all involved in this because obviously there are suspicions that this was some kind of coordinated attack. We don't know that for sure. It's still being investigated. But obviously there's people out there that are hell-bent on spreading chaos and instilling fear.
Yep.
And we've got to show our intestinal resolve as a nation.
I think the danger is we can't get numb to it. This happens a lot.
Yeah.
And if you get numb to it, all right, another shooting, another this,
Yes.
another that, let's move. Can't do
You're
that.
absolutely right.
And the other issue here is, this is not somebody who came from that part of the world here. When he was in the Army.
Yes.
This is a guy in
US citizen.
Beaumont, Texas.
Yeah.
You would never think you go out at 2 o'clock in the morning in New Orleans and some guy who's been living here his whole life, who was in the U.S. Army, drives that van at 100 miles an hour through it is terrible. I don't know and they had to postpone a game, obviously. 4 o'clock today, okay, you could make an argument, postpone it for a week, but there is aspects of playoffs and money involved, but they had to postpone a game. But I think the thing I said, when you put the television on yesterday, another one, okay, let's move on. Where's the Arizona State game? That's what you can't do.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you can't do. And I think that's the danger.
That's a good point. It's tragic. When it happened, I was like, oh my gosh. We have, obviously we have colleagues down there, but friends. Like Ryan Clark is down there. His son plays for Notre Dame. Laura's down there, Rutledge, covering the game. So me, oh my gosh, I hope they're okay. And then I think, Mad Dog, your point of not just getting used to it, not going to the game today at 4 o'clock and, midway through in the first quarter being like, all right, everything is fine, just constantly. Not only this obviously has to change. This obviously has to change. At some point, the people in control, in power, in influence have to do something.
Couldn't have said it better myself.